Hey coin collectors and treasure hunters, welcome back to the channel. Today, we have something really exciting for you. We're counting down the top 5 most interesting and valuable coins you could find in your collection or even in your pocket change. From rare Roosevelt dimes to historic pennies, these coins are not just money. They carry history, stories, and in some cases, big market value in dollars. We'll explore their mint marks, condition, rarity, and what makes them so special for collectors today. So stay tuned, because you don't want to miss a single coin on this list. Some of these could surprise you with their value. Top 1. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, replacing the Mercury dime. It was designed to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who led the United States through much of World War II. The design has stayed consistent from 1946 to the present, featuring Roosevelt's portrait on the obverse and a torch with olive and oak branches on the reverse, symbolizing liberty, peace, and victory. Now let's focus on the 1985 P Roosevelt dime. The P here stands for the Philadelphia Mint, where this coin was struck in 1985. The U.S. Mint made a massive number of these dimes, over 705 million coins for everyday circulation. Year: 1985. Mint mark P, Philadelphia. Face value: 10 cents. Composition: copper nickel clad over copper core. Weight: 2.27 grams. Diameter: 17.9 millimeters. Designer: John R. Cynic. Same designer since 1946. So what does it mean if your 1985 P dime is in circulated condition? That means it has been used in everyday life, worn down by handling, scratched, dusty, and losing its original mint luster. Most circulated 1985 P dimes you find are worth only their face value, 10 cents. That's because so many were made, and they are very common in everyday change. Coin trackers, even dusty and fine condition examples, which show wear and surface blemishes from use, are typically worth just 10 cents in the market unless there's a unique error or exceptional detail. Collectors care about condition above everything. Coins that still look sharp with crisp design details and know where are graded in what's called mint state higher. MS grades mean higher value. PCGS, a standard circulated 1985 P dime, no matter how clean, is most likely common and valued at face value. Coin trackers. But here's where it gets interesting. This means all horizontal lines on the torch bands on the reverse side are fully separated and distinct. A dime with full bands is scarcer and has more collector demand. PCGS. Uncirculated MS 60 to MS 63, a few dollars each. APMEX, MS 66 or MS 67, higher multi-dollar range. APMEX, rare full bands in top grade. Auction prices have reached hundreds or even over $1,000 for exceptional examples. In fact, full band specimens have auction records of over $1,000 plus. There are rare situations where a 1985 dime, any mint mark, can fetch significant money if it has an unusual error, such as being struck without a mint mark altogether or an off-center strike. For example, some rare dimes from other years, like a 1975 dime without its mint mark, sold for over $500 at auction due to extreme rarity. While this isn't a 1985 P dime, it shows how powerful errors can be in the collector market. AP News. Here's a quick value guide for the 1985 P Roosevelt dime. Today's market: USD. Circulated, dusty, worn 10 cents. Face value. Uncirculated MS 60, MS 63, $3 to $10. MS 65, $7 to $8 or more. MS 66 to MS 67, especially with full bands, $20, $100 plus, $500 plus to over $1,000 in some cases. So what does this mean for you? If you just found a worn 1985 P dime in change, it's likely worth 10 cents. But if you find one that looks shiny, crisp, with bold features and maybe even full bands on the reverse, it could be much more valuable to collectors. Professionally graded, if you think you have a high-grade or rare example, this can dramatically increase selling value. Top 2. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who led the United States through much of World War II and was a champion of the March of Dimes charity to fight polio. The design was created by John R. Cynic and has stayed largely the same for decades. Roosevelt's portrait on the front obverse, and a torch held by an olive branch and oak branch on the back reverse, symbolizing. Now, let's focus on the star of today's video, the 1981 D. Roosevelt dime. Year, 1981. Mint mark, D. Denver Mint. Face value, 10 cents. Composition, copper, nickel-clad over a pure copper core. Weight and size, same standard dime specifications used since 1965. The D Mint mark on the coin tells us it was struck at the Denver Mint, one of the United States' major facilities for producing coins. When we say a coin is circulated, that means it has been used in everyday commerce. It has scratches, surface wear, dullness, and often a layer of dirt or dust from years of handling. A lot of collectors describe this as dusty fine condition. Circulated coins usually show rounded details. The high points of Roosevelt's hair or the torch on the reverse are softer, not sharp like uncirculated examples. So here's the big question: is the 1981 D. Roosevelt dime rare? The honest answer is it's not extremely rare in regular circulated condition. Millions of these were produced for everyday use. This means most 1981 D dimes you find in circulation are common and worth roughly face value, that is, 10 cents, especially if they are worn and dusty. Let's talk market value in US dollars. If you found a 1981 D. Roosevelt dime in circulated dusty/fine condition, here's generally what it's worth today. Circulated/dusty and used, about face value, around 10 cents to 30 cents. Better circulated, less worn up to about $1 to $2. Uncirculated, MS-60 plus a few dollars. High mint state or special full bands varieties, more collectible, higher value. But again, in normal shop, wear and dirt, most 1981 D-dimes stay close to 10 cents to a couple of dollars at most. Now, if you're thinking, wait a minute, does every 1981 D-dime just sit at face value? Not always. Collectors value a few special conditions much higher. Uncirculated/mint condition, coins that have never been used and still have their original mint luster are much more valuable than worn ones. Full bands on the reverse. Some Roosevelt dimes have what collectors call full bands. This means the horizontal bars on the torch are fully separated and strong. Coins with full bands are more desirable and can fetch a premium. If a coin has a strike error, like missing mint mark, off-center strike, or double die, those can be rare and valuable. So even though millions exist, the specific condition and features can make a big difference in value. If you think your 1981 D-dime looks really clean, has strong details, or maybe even shows full bands, it could be worth having it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A high-grade coin with excellent details can be worth significantly more than face value. Even though most circulated coins are common, there are always collectors who are willing to pay more for quality and rarity. Here's what you need to remember about the 1981 D. Roosevelt dime. It's a common coin in circulation. Most dusty, worn examples are worth about. Top 3. The Roosevelt dime was first issued in 1946 as a tribute to President Franklin D. Roosevelt, a key figure in 20th century American history. Roosevelt led the nation through the Great Depression and most of World War II. The dime design was created to honor his legacy especially his role in founding the March of Dimes charity to fight polio. The portrait of Roosevelt appears on the front obverse, and a torch with olive and oak branches appears on the back reverse, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. The specific coin we're talking about today, the 1990 P. Roosevelt dime. Year, 1990. Mint mark P. Philadelphia Mint. Face value, 10 cents. Composition, copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core. Size and weight. Standard dime specifications used since 1965. Designer, John R. Cynic. The P Mint mark shows that this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the main production facilities for United States circulation coins. So what does circulated mean? A circulated coin has been used in everyday transactions. It's been passed through many hands. Over time, the design's high points, like Roosevelt's hair and the torch details, lose their sharpness. Dust, scratches, and surface marks build up. A dusty/fine condition coin means it shows visible wear, some smoothing of the design, and an overall dull look from years of handling. Here's the honest truth. The 1990 P. Roosevelt dime is very common in circulated condition. Millions were minted for regular day-to-day transactions, so finding one in circulation dusty and worn is not rare. Because of that, most circulated 1990 P dimes are not considered rare by coin collectors unless they show unusual features or errors. Now, let's talk money. How much is this coin worth in today's market in US dollars? Typical values for 1990 P. Roosevelt dime. Circulated/dusty and worn, 10 cents to 25 cents. Cleaner circulated, less where $0.25, $1. Uncirculated, $1, $5 plus. High uncirculated with strong detail, $10 or more if exceptional. But again, those first numbers reflect the typical circulated dusty condition that most people find. In most cases, the 1990 P. Roosevelt dime in worn condition is only worth face value or slightly more. So, is it ever worth more than pocket change? Yes, if one of these things is true. A dime that still has its original mint luster and sharp details can be much more valuable than a worn, dusty one. On the reverse of Roosevelt dimes, the torch has horizontal bands. If all these bands are fully separated and crisp, collectors call this full bands, and these examples are more collectible and valuable. Some coins have mint errors, such as off-center strikes, missing or doubled mint marks, die cracks or doubling. These error coins can be rare and can sell for significantly more, sometimes hundreds of dollars, depending on the error and condition. Collectors use grading standards to determine how worn or sharp a coin is. A professional grading service like PCGS or NGC can assign a grade like MS63, MS65, or higher. Higher graded coins, especially with full bands or no, will often sell for more at auction or on collector markets. So here's what you've learned about the 1990 P. Roosevelt dime. Most are common and circulated. Circulated dusty dimes are usually worth face value, 10 cents. Better condition, uncirculated coins can be worth more. Full bands and error coins can bring a premium. Professional grading can boost collector value. Top 4. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946, just months after President Franklin D. Roosevelt passed away. Roosevelt was one of America's most influential presidents, leading the country through the Great Depression and World War II. The dime was chosen to honor FDR's leadership and his role as a champion of the March of Dimes, an organization that fought polio, a disease he battled himself. The design crafted by John R. Cynic shows Roosevelt's portrait on the front obverse, and a torch with an olive branch and oak branch on the back reverse, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Now let's focus on the specific coin. We're talking about the 2001 P. Roosevelt dime. Year, 2001. Mint mark, P meaning it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Face value, 10 cents. Composition, copper nickel clad over a pure copper core. Designer, John R. Cynic. Original design from 1946. The Philadelphia Mint P is one of the oldest coin production facilities in the United States. In 2001, millions of Roosevelt dimes were struck for everyday circulation, meaning these coins were meant for commerce, not collectors. You might hear coin collectors talk about grades like very fine. So what does that mean? When a coin is circulated, it has been used in everyday transactions, changing hands, going through pockets, drawers, cash registers, and coin jars. A very fine condition means the coin shows moderate wear, but still has many design details visible. Roosevelt's hair, facial features, and the torch's details on the reverse are still clear, even though the coin has been in circulation. Coins in very fine condition are desirable to some collectors, especially if they show good detail, even wear, and a pleasing appearance. So let's answer the big question: is the 2001 P. Roosevelt dime rare? The honest answer is that, in circulated condition, it's relatively common. The U.S. Mint produced a large number of these dimes in 2001 because they were intended for everyday use. Most circulated dimes from this year that you find in your change are not extremely rare, even in nice, very fine condition. Now, let's talk about value, because most people want to know typical market values for a 2001 P. Roosevelt dime. Circulated, very fine, $0.10, 50 cents. Better circulated, well-defined, detail, 50 cents, $1.00, $1, $5 plus. High uncirculated / strong strike, $5, $20 or more for exceptional pieces. In most cases, a 2001 P. Roosevelt dime in very fine circulated condition is worth about face value roughly 10 cents to maybe 50 cents or $1, depending on eye appeal and detail. So if most circulated 2001 P dimes are common, when can a dime be worth more? Full bands on reverse. The torch on the reverse has horizontal bands. If all bands are fully separated and strong, collectors call this full bands. Coins with full bands can command a premium because they are more desirable to collectors. Uncirculated mint state coins. A coin that looks almost brand new with crisp details and original luster is worth much more than a worn one. Errors or misstrikes. Some coins have striking mistakes like off-center strikes, double dies, missing details, or unusual planchet errors. These can be rare and valuable, sometimes hundreds of dollars, depending on the error. So even though millions of 2001 P dimes were made, not all are created equal, and condition matters. Collectors grade coins based on eye appeal, detail sharpness, wear level, and overall look. A professional grading service like PCGS or NGC can assign a grade like MS63, MS65, and so on. A high-grade Roosevelt dime with strong full bands and excellent strike details can fetch a higher price on auction sites and coin marketplaces. Let's summarize what you've learned about the 2001 P. Roosevelt dime. It was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. Most circulated very fine examples are common. Typical value for circulated very fine is about 10 cents, $1. Coins with full bands or in uncirculated condition can be worth more. Error coins or rare varieties can be significantly more valuable. Top 5. The Roosevelt dime was first issued in 1946, created to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Roosevelt led America through the Great Depression and most of World War II. He was also a champion of the March of Dimes charity, an organization originally formed to fight polio, a disease he personally battled. The design was created by John R. Cynic, and since 1946, it has featured Roosevelt's portrait on the front, obverse. On the back, reverse. You'll see a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, representing liberty, peace, and strength. Now, let's zero in on the coin we're talking about today, the 2021 D. Roosevelt dime. Year, 2021. Mint mark, D. Denver Mint. Face value, 10 cents, 10 cents. Composition, copper nickel clad over a pure copper core. Diameter and weight. Standard dime specifications used since 1965. Designer, John R. Cynic. The Denver Mint D is one of the major United States mint facilities located in Denver, Colorado, and has been producing coins for over a century. So what does it mean when we say a coin is circulated very fine? When a coin is circulated, it means it has been used in everyday transactions, passed through pockets, cash registers, wallets, and coin jars. In a very fine grade, a coin shows moderate wear, but design details like Roosevelt's hair, facial features, and the torch on the reverse are still clearly visible. You should be able to see most of the major elements without them being completely worn down. Very fine is a mid-range condition, not brand new, but more detailed than good or fine. Many circulated coins fall into this category. Let's talk rarity. The truth is, in circulated condition, the 2021 D. Roosevelt dime is generally common. The U.S. Mint produced millions of these coins for everyday circulation, and most people still use them without giving them a second thought. Even in a very fine grade, this coin is not extremely rare or hard to find. Most collectors consider it a common date coin unless it has something special, like a unique error or particularly strong eye appeal. Now, let's talk about market value in US dollars, what this coin is worth today. Typical market values for a 2021 D. Roosevelt dime. Circulated very fine, 10 cents to 50 cents. Better circulated detail, $0.50, $1, $1, $3 plus. High uncirculated / strong strike, $3, $10 plus for exceptional pieces. So in most cases, a 2021 D dime in very fine condition will be worth about face value roughly 10 cents to maybe 50 cents or $1, depending on overall appearance and collector interest. So this coin isn't usually worth a ton, but there are conditions and features that can make it more valuable. Full bands on the reverse. Some Roosevelt dimes have completely separated and crisp bands on the torch on the reverse side. Collectors call this full bands, and these coins are more desirable, sometimes selling for a premium. Uncirculated condition. Coins that look nearly brand new with crisp detail and original mint luster can fetch higher prices than worn examples. Errors and varieties. Coins with striking errors like off-center strikes, double dies, missing mint marks, or planchet issues can be rare and valuable. Some error coins can sell for hundreds of dollars or more, depending on the type and condition. So even though millions were made, some examples are more collectible than others. Collectors use grading standards to evaluate coins. Grading services like PCGS and NGC look at wear, detail, strike quality, luster, and overall eye appeal. A coin with a higher grade, especially one with full bands, will almost always be worth more than a worn example. For example, a 2021 D. Roosevelt dime graded MS 65 or higher could be worth more than a typical uncirculated example, sometimes several dollars or more. Here's what you need to remember about the 2021 D. Roosevelt dime. It was minted at the Denver Mint. Most circulated, very fine examples are common. Typical value for circulated very fine is about 10 cents to 50 cents. Coins with full bands or in uncirculated condition can be more valuable. Error coins can be significantly more valuable. Thanks for watching. If you learned something new about the 2021 D. Roosevelt dime, hit that like button, Subscribe for more coin history and value videos, and comment below what coin you want us to explore next.